Okay. Hello,
Okay.
everyone. I'm Lisa Twilley, the director of the Women's Business Center at Maryland Capital Enterprises, and I just want to give you a little bit of information about MCE. They're a nonprofit based here in Salisbury, also have an office in Baltimore. We cover all the Eastern Shore of Maryland, Baltimore City, Baltimore County, and Anne Arundel County. And we assist entrepreneurs that are getting started in business, or if you're already in business and trying to expand. We do business consulting, marketing consulting, training workshops such as this, and we also do small business loans. So if we can help you in any way, please reach out to us. I'll put my contact information in the chat, and you guys can just reach out to me if you want to be added to our newsletter list. You can also just email me, and I can add you to our newsletter list. I'll let you know when we have different trainings coming up or events coming up. So we always do a women's business conference in March, and that's actually March 6th this year or next year. So hopefully you guys will be able to join us for that. And today we have Maureen Cody, who works at Avery Hall Insurance, and she's going to talk to us about small business insurance. And we appreciate you, Maureen, being here today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Ready to get started?
Yes, take it
Okay.
away.
Okay, so Lisa, thank you so much for inviting me and the organization for having us. A small business is exactly where I got started, is working in a very small office, a small business. And I especially like working with customers who are getting started because it's exciting and everybody is doing something different. And it's just a time where we get to know each other and start networking. And so I really enjoy working with small businesses and especially working with entrepreneurs and women. So this is exciting. And so thank you for having us. A little bit about me. I work here at Avery Hall Insurance. As we said, I'm vice president. I handle a fairly large book of business, but I also work with clients who are looking for new insurance, starting a new business, something that they are not equipped with, and learning how to protect the business that they are creating and starting. Um, Walking them through the steps, even nonprofits, helping them know what is most important and when to buy that. So this is something that we do a lot. I work with property, liability, business automobile. I work with farms. We write flood insurance, workers' compensation, again, the not-for-profit organizations and contractors. So we do a wide range of industries here at Avery Hall. And so then we say, why Avery Hall? And I like to say, because we've just celebrated our 100th anniversary. We've been in business 100 years here on the shore serving the Delmarva Peninsula. And our people, we have educated, long tenured employees here at Avery Hall. We have employees who've been here 45 years, people who come here right out of high school. So there's a lot of knowledge here at our office, and we serve a good large footprint here with 5 locations. Our promise is to provide a good customer service, a service that our clients can trust. We have reliable team members and experienced, as I said, we have people here with a lot of experience. We like to provide our clients with a choice of quality coverage options. We're an independent agency, and so we're able to provide multiple quotes with various companies, which allow the client more options to choose from. And our goal would be to remain rooted here in our community and provide services. One of the coverages that you would need as a small business owner would be property insurance. You're going to need property insurance whether you're buying a building, whether you're renting, leasing a building, maybe some equipment, might be a copier, it might be, if you're into advertising, it might be some sort of a large printer. You're going to have some sort of property. It also, if it's a retail operation, you might have inventory. In some cases, you might have property that belongs to someone else, and there's coverage for that as well as loss of income. So for instance, loss of income is going to be the coverage that steps in and fills the gap. For instance, if you have a fire in a retail operation and you can't open the doors, you're going to lose income because you're not able to sell the items that are on display in your store. So you're going to lose the income. The loss of business income comes in and provides a coverage for you during that time of renovation and getting your business, your store, or whatever else up and running again. Why property insurance? Okay, so without property insurance, you're going to be forced to pay out of pocket. For instance, again, if it is a retail operation, you will have lost your inventory. And so to recoup that is going to be money out of your pocket if you don't have the proper insurance in place. Property insurance provides coverage for things like fire, wind, hurricane, lightning, and flood. I don't know about you guys, but we are seeing an awful lot of wind damage here on Delmarva lately. And we have these weird flashes of things like these flatline winds that come in. And so wind coverage is extremely important, just as important as fire. Property claim example would be a kitchen fire spreads and damages your appliances, the cabinets, and the structure of a home or a business. And if that business is covered with fire insurance, which is found under the property form, then the coverage is going to be there. It's going to limit your out-of-pocket expenses if these coverages are in place. And so then why do you need the insurance, or who might need the insurance? Again, it's just recapping here. If you own or rent a building, if you operate an office, if you have some inventory, a computer for your business, tools and equipment, or depending on the business itself, the type of income. Again, that would be the business income that we talked about. Any questions on property? No? Okay, and then the next thing, one of the most important things that we need in today's society in a business is liability insurance. Liability insurance protects you. It protects you whether you invited that guest in or if they are an intruder and they are hurt. They can essentially come back to you for their personal injury. So types of liability would be the bodily injury, the property damage, personal injury, and product liability, as well as legal fees. And we'll get into that with looking at why is liability important. So without the liability insurance, again, you're going to be forced out of pocket. If somebody comes, slips, trips, and falls at your place of business, that visitor who slips, trips, and falls, if they've broken a leg, there's going to be medical expenses. They may lose time from work if they're not able to return to work immediately. So they're going to look to that business for these expenses that they're going to incur. Medical expenses are terribly expensive. And then loss of wages, depending on what they're making, could add up as well. And so the liability is very important to protect yourself. And why might you need liability insurance would be meeting face-to-face with customers. You would probably need some type of liability insurance depending on what your profession is. If you're working on or working with someone else's property, for instance, if you are working on an automobile, If for some reason you have a cleaners or a seamstress, thinking of some type of industry where you take someone else's property into your possession, then you have a liability exposure. When you're representing a client, you have a liability exposure. Using a third-party location for a business activity or advertising your business is another exposure because there's an advertising liability. So you have to be very careful that you aren't using graphics and words that someone else may have already adopted. And that would be like a copyright issue. Oftentimes contracts and agreements require insurance. And when I say contracts or agreements, like a lease agreement, if you're renting an office downtown, there's a lease agreement between you and the landlord. He may require that you obtain liability insurance that protects your business, but it also protects him because he's leasing that property to you. And then we come to workers' compensation. So these are the very three basic coverages when starting a small business. Workers' compensation is required in the state of Maryland if you have even one small employee as little as part-time. You are required by law to have the workers' comp coverage. The workers' compensation coverage protects you in the event that, number one, it provides the medical expenses to the employee who has been injured while employed through your operations. It's also going to provide loss of wages to that individual who has been injured on the job. And if you are not required, you actually still need it. So because of our location, we sit so close to the state of Delaware and then to Virginia, and each state comes with a different set of laws. And in the state of Virginia, it says 2 or more employees. And I often say to clients, regardless if you have 1 employee or 10 employees, you really should have workers' compensation to protect yourself. And just to go into a little bit about workers' compensation, it is rated based on the amount of the payroll that you are paying that individual. So if it is part-time, the rate is going to remain the same, but the cost will be reduced because it'll be the rate times the estimated payroll. So what not having the insurance can cost you. So what it would cost you is it can cost a business a lot of money if someone gets hurt on the job. You have all of those expenses and that loss of wage, again, it comes out of your pocket. And the reason for the insurance is we often say it's transferring the risk. Well, it's transferring it from you personally to these insurance policies that protect you in the course of your business. And workers' compensation can help retain your employees also. Anytime you offer coverage or a benefit to an employee, it will help you keep them on board. Offering workers' compensation ensures that employees who become injured will be cared for. They're going to be taken care of during that time that they're experiencing the injury and maybe even the loss of employment. Well, they may not be coming into the office or the retail facility that you're creating. They still will be receiving some salary. Any questions on the liability, Rhonda, Lisa?
You okay, Rhonda? You just got to unmute yourself.
Yeah.
There you go.
No, I'm good. I'm good. No
Okay.
questions.
I'm good too. This is good to
Okay.
know.
So we've talked about property, workers' compensation, and liability. So we've addressed those 3, but I think it's important to say that there are so many other types of insurance. where, you know, if you are a consultant, you may need professional liability. If you're an architect, you're going to need professional. If you are a counselor, maybe you're starting a counseling business or a nonprofit where you're going to offer professional advice or assistance with finances and so forth, you're going to need some professionals. So remember that these are very basic insurances, and there are many other types available. And because of those other types of insurance, you know, we have a full team here at Avery Hall Insurance. We provide not only the commercial insurance for businesses, both small, medium, and large, we also provide home, auto, health insurance, both for a business, a group policy, which would be 2 or more, or an individual policy, which may be just a family health insurance policy. So we have lots of different products to offer here, both on a personal level as well as a business level. The workers' comp, the liability, umbrellas, properties, you can see all of these types of coverages listed here. And these are all available through our office. And again, we do have 5 offices, and we have people who specialize within each department. And then that brings us to, if I can be of any help to you, by all means, you can contact us here at Avery Hall Insurance. This is my direct number here at my desk, where I seem to spend a lot of time. And then, of course, the email. And we would be very happy to help you. Even just to answer questions. I know that when you're starting a small business, you are navigating a lot of balls in the air, and there may be questions you're just not sure about. And we are here to assist our community. We are here to help in any way that we can. And I would welcome your phone call to help you as you get started and moving on to that next chapter.
Do you have any questions, Rhonda?
No, the business that I'll be getting into is going to be a family LLC. We have an heirs property that we're getting probated right now, and kind of decide what exactly to do with the property. The biggest thought process in terms of what to do with it, we're looking at putting tiny homes and doing like Airbnb or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm doing these sessions to get as much knowledge as possible, because I'm like the point person.
Yes, I understand.
The one that's getting it rolling.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I understand.
Yeah. So early in the process, to look at insurance, but I figured it would be something definitely beneficial.
Yes. And so, Rhonda, depending on the contractor that you hire to build these homes, you will definitely need liability insurance initially. But other than liability, if the contractor does not provide what's called a builder's risk policy, then you would want to have the builder's risk. And I'll explain to you what a builder's risk is. So while that structure is being constructed from the foundation to the top, while it's under construction, a builder's risk is what is needed to protect that structure. It would protect it from fire, wind, vandalism, theft of materials, theft of supplies, theft of tools at the job site. And so sometimes the contractor will provide the builder's risk, and they would name you as the additional insured, you as in the LLC that's going to own this structure, or multiple structures. It sounds like a tiny home's like a community. And so
yes, the container homes.
Yes,
Yeah, basically, not sure how many just yet, but yes, more than 2.
Okay, so you definitely would want the builder's risk while it's under construction. And then when it's completed, then you would flip to a property policy. And the other thing, when we talked about property insurance, we also talked about loss of income. And so that is exactly what you would have with the tiny homes. If you do Airbnb or short-term rentals, that rent would be your income. And so when we put together a policy for something like what you're going to create, we would have a property policy that's going to cover the structure, the furnishing inside of it, that would be your contents, the furniture inside. Then we would also cover the equipment. When I say equipment, it's like equipment breakdown. That might be the air condition, the heating unit, in case it is struck by fire, lightning, or something such as that, a surge. And then, of course, the loss of income. So that would be your rent. God forbid if there were a fire in one of those and you would lose that income. Maybe you've got it booked for the busiest season, June, July, August, September, and you lose that income during that period of time. This would be a vital coverage for you to recoup the financial loss that you're experiencing.
Mhm.
And then the liability would be very easy. It's usually rated on either the square footage or the number of units that you have. So in your case, you could have multiple units, depending on how many homes you actually build.
So just listening to you, what it's really important to make sure that the insurance policy that we get is tailored.
Yes, ma'am.
Trying to do.
And each client is different. You are going to have something completely different, and your needs and your protection is going to look different than someone who is opening a retail or an office. So every client is different, and that's why it's an individualized. It may be the same type of policy, but they're going to be rated differently, and you may need different coverages on your property policy than someone else. It's very tailored.
Okay, well, that was it. I don't have any other questions. I
Okay.
appreciate it.
That's good to know. I didn't know about the builder's risk policy.
Oh,
So
yes.
that's good for me to know too, for people
Yes.
that are, doing something like Rhonda's doing.
Yes, if you're building any structure whatsoever, the contractor who's doing that construction, oftentimes he has the coverage, but it is very, very good practice for you to request proof of it so that you know that policy, that protection is there. And it's also very good practice for your name to be listed on it. If something should happen, if there's a fire, you don't want the contractor to get all of the money. You want to be able to consume your part of that as well.
Okay.
Oh, that's good to know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely.
My this isn't to do with business, but it's about insurance. My sister had a fire. It's been like 3-4 years ago, and she lost everything except what
my.
was in her garage. I mean, everything in the house. She lost everything, and so they have a nice garage, thankfully, with that they have dinners and stuff like that out there, when people come over and stuff. So they had a place to be, but it was just terrible just to lose everything they
Devastating.
have. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the second time we had a fire when we were little. So that's the second time she's had a fire.
Oh, I'm sure that was devastating.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it was very.
And it's very hard for people to remember, to recalculate everything that they have during, I mean, that's a major crisis you're going through.
Yeah.
So it's very difficult to recount what you have. And so we often tell people periodically, run a video of each room in your home and store it like on a Google Drive or something, so that when these times happen, and we all hope that they never happen to us, but the reality is it does happen. And if it does, then you have some recourse to look at and think, oh my goodness, yes, I did have that there. I forgot, you know. So
Yeah.
it's a very good practice. We often tell homeowners to do that.
Yeah, that's a
Mhm.
good idea.
Mhm.
It is a
It's
good
so much
idea.
easier than it was 30 years ago. I would hand them a piece of paper and say, create an inventory. But now
Mhm.
with our cell phones, you can just, you know, spin it around the room and you've kind of
Yeah,
got it.
Yeah.
that's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. The sad part is when you lose stuff like that was like my mom's and stuff like that that have been handed down,
Mhm.
you know, and
Sentimental. Yeah.
pictures.
Yeah, things that are
Yeah.
irreplaceable. Yeah.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that was wonderful, Maureen. Thank you so much for
Well, you're welcome. It's fast. I feel like I didn't
that's
spend a lot
okay.
of time with you, but hopefully, Rhonda, if you have any questions, my number is on that last screen there.
I did take it down. I did take down your number and your email.
Okay, and feel free to share that within your group, Lisa. If I can help anyone, I can
Okay.
certainly answer questions and help direct them in the path that may help as they navigate creating and getting their business up and running.
And the people that register today, I'm going to send these slides to them.
Okay.
So
Uh-huh.
they're still going to get your information and
Okay.
your card. And if they have any questions, hopefully they'll give you a call or email and reach out to you.
Okay. Well, good luck to you, Rhonda. I hope it all
Thank
goes
you.
very well.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
And Rhonda, you're already on our email list, aren't you?
Yes.
Okay, I thought so. So wonderful. Well, thank you both. You guys have a great day.
Okay, you
too.
too. Thank you.
Thank
And
you,
Maureen,
Lisa.
I'll get out with you. Maybe we can do it again. We'll try it
Okay.
again and see if we get more people next time.
All
Okay.
right. That sounds
Have a
great.
good day.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.